NP who asked the salesman today what the $3,000 add-ons were, and he said, "I didn't know. I just work here." And I think this is very funny because I've had this similar experience when I was going to go look for a used car and I couldn't find it at auction. Went to the dealerships, and I would get there, and the car price would instantly go from like $13,000 straight up to $18,000 as soon as I walked into the door. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's $18,000. You advertised it for 13 grand. And they were like, well, we've got some add-on, like some protection stuff. And I was like, okay, well, tell me exactly what I'm paying for. Oh, well, it's just a package that we put on every one of these. No, come on, dude. Just what is, it's $5,000. Tell me what it is. Well, I can promise you we've never lost a customer over this package. All right, come on, dude. Did did you ever work in a dealership where you had things that were just added on and it just seemed like it was okay, this is just what we do, and the salespeople, there was no training? I know with you, you ran a better dealership than what a lot of these dealerships are being run now, but it amazes me how these salespeople don't even know what they're selling.
Listen, did we have addendum labels on a lot of our cars? Absolutely. If somebody asked my salespeople what the stuff was, my salespeople could explain to them what it was, and not just what it was, but what the value of it was to them. Because to just say what it is without telling the customer what the benefit of it is just like a waste of air. It's a waste of breath. So, for a salesperson to say, "I don't know, I just work here," that's a huge indictment on the management team as to how they want to operate. And the sad reality is that might be at the vast majority of dealerships around the country. So that's the unfortunate part. If you're going to add things, at least give your salespeople some type of word track as to what it is you've added and why, and what the benefit of it might be. And if your salespeople aren't intelligent enough to be able to take that in,
I feel like you had to search for a word there before that
yeah,
came out.
yeah. And so if they're not intelligent enough to be able to say that and understand what it is, well, teach them to say something other than, "I'll be damned if I know." They just put that on every car. I wish we wouldn't. Yeah, maybe honesty's the best policy. I don't really know what it is. I just know that they do it to every car, and my guess is the reason they do it like this is to get you to come in by advertising the lowest possible price on the internet. I wish we wouldn't do it this way. It just creates more headaches for me. Maybe the salesperson should say something like that. I don't know.
Here's the thing that bothers me the most. So these salespeople that I would ask, and they couldn't tell me what the $5,000 was for. Like, they're using this same spiel on every customer.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it's a big franchise dealer, so they're selling cars. So they're saying the same thing to every customer that comes in the door, and people are still paying it. I don't get it. I guess it's just, okay, what's the payment going to be? And if I can afford that, I'm good. Put whatever you want to put on there. I don't care.
Well,
I feel so bad for these uninformed consumers when they're getting this spiel and they're like, "Oh, okay, that sounds good. $4.59 a month. Yeah, I can do that."
Yeah, when 85 to 86% of the public out there are payment buyers, and that's all they're concerned with, that's shame on the customer, but shame on the dealership for operating that way. But that's all the customer's interested in. I mean, there were times in my career where I would hear a customer say, "Well, can you keep my payment at no more than $350 with the late fees?" Well, what do you mean? Well, I already know I'm going to be late, so I want to, what the? I mean, my God, what are you doing at a car dealership? So part of it is shame on the customer. Um, Part of it's shame on the dealerships. But I just, it amazes me how many sales are lost at dealerships because A, the salespeople don't have any answers for customers, and B, the sales managers are too lazy to A, train their salespeople, and B, get involved so that I mean, there's just so many deals that walk that shouldn't walk because bad attitudes, bad answers, not caring. When Zach does those things where he sends out 100 emails to 100 different dealerships, and 15 get back to you. Maybe 30 get back to you, and 15 actually get back to you with some type of information, but 70 never contact you at all. I mean, what's that say about the dealership? How many potential deals are they just letting go somewhere else because they're so inept in handling customer inquiries, whether they be in person through the door or over the phone or via the internet, via email? And you've probably experienced it. You send an email to these dealerships, you ask a question. If you get a response, it's not the answer to the question you asked. It's like we're going to ignore the question you asked because the question you asked isn't, hey, gee, what time can I set up an appointment to come in? Which is the answer you're going to get from the dealership anyway, regardless of what your question was. It's like, well, when can you be here? Um, God, I am so glad I'm out of retail automotive.
So I got a question for you. So early on, when I was starting doing these videos where I go around these dealerships, look at the inventory, look at prices, stuff like that, I would always get questions about, okay, well, why are you not getting bombarded by salespeople? And it's not like I was going after hours or anything. A lot of
Yeah,
people would say, well, he's going on Sunday or he's going after. No, I was going in the middle of the freaking day.
yeah,
But I would never have salespeople come up and talk to me. It's because they didn't have to. So 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, it was so easy to sell cars that all these salespeople got so lazy. So I could go into a dealership, even if I didn't have my camera, I didn't look like I was filming. If I was going around just looking at prices just for research for myself, I wouldn't get approached by a salesperson. I would have to go in the building if I had a question, and then the salespeople were there sitting around, and I
yeah.
would have to grab one of them
You,
and say, "Hey,
you
I
have
got
to
a
go up to them.
question for you."
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question to you is: Has that laziness, has that persona of what's happened to the salespeople over the last 2 to 3 years because of this market? Has it changed how things are going to be in car dealerships now? But now, when I go onto these dealerships, I can see that there's a higher frequency of times when I'm getting approached by salespeople. When a year and a half ago it was zero, but now I'm actually getting people. Do you think we're going to shift back to where salespeople are getting more predatory and they're learning that they have to go after customers instead of letting customers come to them?
I think so.
Yeah.
If the extent of your sales skills were simply, hey, either you do it, either you buy it at this price, or the guy right behind you will. That's not selling. That's not persuading anybody to do anything. So if we have gone from either you do or the next guy will to holy where is the next guy? Hey, I better learn some skills here. I better figure out instead of instead of having maybe 10 people to talk to in a day, I now only have 3. I better figure out how to, I don't know, sell one or two of the 3 people that I get to talk to, as opposed to just saying, well, either you do or the guy behind you does. So yeah, I think it's going to become more predatory. I think salespeople are going to have to learn the craft. There's a certain craft
Yeah.
involved in selling. It's an acquired art form that takes years to really get skillful at. And really, the skill is understanding human psychology more than anything. And there's no real understanding of human psychology when there's a shortage and there's the fear of missing out, so everybody's just agreeing to pay whatever it is. To now, there's an oversupply, and you need to give somebody real reasons, compelling reasons, as to why it would make sense for them to buy whatever it is you're selling. And that takes a skill set that most salespeople, I won't say most, but a large percentage of salespeople don't have. And either they're not interested in learning it and developing it, or they're just too lazy. Because I mean, even I trained up salespeople, but even I would always have lazy salespeople that somebody would walk in the door. I would be in my office and I could see it, and there'd be 4 or 5 salespeople in the showroom. Okay, and they could either see or hear the door open, but the most astounding thing would happen as that door would open. Those salespeople, many of them would become sighted and hearing impaired. And suddenly they couldn't see or hear anything. And unless the customer came to them and, hey, can I ask you a question? The salespeople weren't getting up off their asses to do anything about it. And it was like, you're not making any money just by showing up. We don't pay you just to show up. This is a commission based business at the dealerships I worked at. So why are you trading a day of your life for nothing in return? If you got to be here, at least be excited that you get to share some knowledge and enthusiasm about the product you're selling with somebody when they come in. And if you can't do that, then, well, as I used to like to say to them, then just get the hell out. I don't need
It's
you.
all it's all us millennials. We're the problem. We're lazy. We don't want to do nothing. We don't want to go to work. We want to stay at home and play video games and live in our mom's basement. That's what we want to do.
Well, I stay at home, but I don't play any video games.
Well, you're not a millennial either. You already did all your hard work. Now it's supposed to be our turn, but we're lazy and stupid, so we're not doing it.
I'm supposed to be quasi retired, and it's really just quasi. Yeah.
All right. Well, a lot of you might not realize this, but this is a brand new channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, and let us know what you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
So here's my worry too. We talk about all these salespeople, but I feel like there's made a like a generational problem in these dealerships, not only with the sales staff but also with management too, because we've had 4 years of this craziness now, right?
Yes.
And there's so much turnover in the car market.
Yes.
Salespeople turn over all the time, but you have sales managers that turn over all the time
Mm-hmm.
too, because
Yeah.
it's a hard job. So you're going to have tons and tons of these managers, tons and tons of these salespeople that they've only known one market, and they're not going to know what to do when you got to actually scratch and dig and fight and take some money off. And you're coming to the table with some number. You don't want to take the numbers that I'm giving you. That's weird. Everyone else I've ever talked to has just said okay and signed the paper. And I think a lot of these, I think there's going to be even more turnover, not only because of a different car market, but now you have a downward trending market. You have slower sales that are coming through these manufacturers. I mean, not manufacturers. Well, yeah, manufacturers too, but dealerships. So that's going to cut into the commissions. And then you have dealerships that are making less money. That's going to cut into commission. So I think it's going to be very, very hard for dealerships to hire and keep employees over the next year, 2 years, until things at least try to turn back around.
I think it'll be incumbent upon owners to realize that there needs to be change in the industry. There are old dogs like me that started selling cars in the 70s, in the late 70s, and learned a craft and were somewhat successful and can help people navigate selling cars. And I think, there's a lot of dealerships that still rely on old dogs like me. And I think what they have to do, quite honestly, is develop young management with different ideas and different concepts, different ways of how you how you connect with customers today, as opposed to how I connected with customers over my career. I just I think I think there's enough change within retail automotive, at least moving forward, that dealerships are going to have to rethink how they staff their stores from management on down. And quite honestly, I don't think that can happen soon enough. I know we at Car Edge, we try and level the playing field, and we want to get dealers to realize that there's a better way for them and their customers, because there is. And I think ultimately dealers will recognize that, and it's going to take younger people with different ideas than what most dealership owners would have ever thought to be possible. I hope I'm right.
I hope you're right too.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious, we're live, ladies and gentlemen. And this is Car Sense with your two favorite car people, Brandon from Car Questions Answered, and me, Ray, from what company do I represent? Oh, Car Edge. Ah, yes. How are you today, Mr. Brandon?
And I see in the chat, my wife is saying that just so everybody knows, we're late, but it's not her fault. It's never her fault. It's always my fault. I'm always late to everything. And just so you know, I got about 8,000 tabs pulled up on my screen. I'm
Yeah.
trying my best so we don't have to talk about Stellantis, but that takes work. And here's the thing: if you want us to stop kicking this dead horse, then you're gonna have to give me some time. So that's why we're late, because I'm trying not to kick a dead horse. So first thing I want us to talk about, Ray, Stellantis is going through this. No. We'll start out just something different. I do want to say the one thing that no one's talking about, but everybody's thinking right now
Yes.
is, Ray, I want to tell you that I figured out how to get my beard straight. So we talked last time how I would shave and
Yeah.
have it right in the mirror that I have at my house. And every time I get up to do one of these lives with you, it's always crooked. So what I ended up doing was I shaved it crooked when I'm watching. Like, I intentionally make it crooked when I'm shaving it now,
Yeah.
and it comes out straight. So that's the fix.
Well, so do you have like one of those funhouse mirrors at your place, and that's why it looks straight when it's crooked, and it looks crooked when it's straight?
I don't know what has happened, but every time I line up my beard in my mirror in my bathroom, it's like it's not even close. Like when I get on camera, it's not even remotely close.
Well, I don't take this wrong, but
Okay.
I think that's one of the more charming things about you.
Oh, that I have a crooked beard?
Okay, at least you can grow one.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
trying.
I probably couldn't grow one again if I got rid of this one. There's just going to be a bald patch right in the center of my chin.
Yeah.
Well, Ray, we are an hour and 48 minutes down the drain. So, any of you who have paid attention through this whole hour and 48 minutes, then I am sorry that we have wasted an hour and 48 minutes of your time and your life, and you'll never get it back.
Yeah, but hopefully they got something in return. Hopefully they got some interesting conversation and some interesting takes on some relatively interesting concepts.
Two, I have been alerted by the authorities that we need to give two new sub plugs because ours are washed up and old at this point. So we got to have two more.
Okay.
So you want to go first? You want me to?
Oh my God! If you liked what you saw today, do us a favor right here at CarSense. Like and subscribe. We're new. We're growing. You can't do without us.
All right, here we go. All right, so if you're watching this is a brand new channel. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a thing. Like, comment, let us know what you want us to talk about in the next episode. Boom, there we go.
Nice.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the show. As a lot of you know, but some of you don't at all, we're going to cut it up this long live, this long, an hour and 48 minutes of wasted time, into shorter, more digestible videos and put them out throughout the week. So if you see a video pop up 2-3 days from now and you think you've seen it before, it's because you were watching this. So just so you know, if you see any videos and you watch this whole live, don't watch them because you've already seen it.
You've already seen it. It's going to be a summer rerun for you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ray, thank you for being a part of this. This is always the most fun part of my week.
Well, thank you for having put this all together, and it is the one conversation I really look forward to. I mean, I love my son-in-law.
I was about to say, you might want to fix that real quick.
I don't know.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Do all the things. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ray.
Yep. Thank you, Brandon.